Sharks are deservedly called the main predators of the ocean. Not only people are afraid of encountering them, but also many marine creatures. However, even such bloodthirsty monsters have their enemies and foes. In this episode, you'll learn what the animal looks like, which is 100 times more dangerous than a shark, as well as see other enemies of this deadly fish. Let's go! Many people believe that the strongest creature underwater is the shark. This predator has a powerful bite, huge size. It also moves very quickly and attacks deftly. It's a killing machine, isn't it? But what few people know is that the shark itself is also afraid of someone. I'm talking about the giant Pacific octopus. It's so big that it might seem like it came to us from another planet. It settled in the Pacific Ocean and started attacking the inhabitants. Not all of them, but only those which live at depth, at least at the mark of 590 feet. The cephalopod usually weighs up to 132 pounds and has a length of up to 10 feet. At the same time, all of its 10 feet are just goo. The only solid organ of the octopus is its beak. This feature allows the cephalopod to get into any hole that its beak can fit through. And no matter how much the octopus tries to resemble an ordinary inhabitant of Earth, we realize that it came to us from another planet, because the monster with tentacles moves literally with the help of some kind of jet engine. No, I'm serious, just look at it. It sucks in all the water around it and instantly contracts its muscles, releasing it back and pushing itself forward. It's insanely spectacular. But I have more proof of its extraterrestrial origins. I'm talking about the color of its blood. It's not red at all. The octopus's blood is blue. All jokes aside, it's worth listening to the scientists. They explain that it's blue because of copper. This metal acts as an oxygen carrier and simultaneously dyes the blood of the cephalopod in an aristocratic color. But that's not all. It's driven by 3 hearts. People for a long time couldn't understand why it has so many of them, but later, after another study, they found out that 2 additional hearts help to deliver blood to the gills so that they can function stably. The thing that scared me the most, however, wasn't even this fact, or the fact that the giant Pacific octopus has blue blood. Did you know that it has an extra brain in each of its tentacles? This makes it the smartest cephalopod on the planet, as the number of its neurons is comparable to the number of neurons in a dog. It's no wonder why this tentacled monster can deal with even sharks and other predatory creatures so easily. It's just smarter than them and adapts to new conditions faster. Saltwater crocodile. But as practice shows, you don't have to be very smart to dominate in the wild. You can just be the biggest crocodile. For some time, the saltwater crocodile lived in swamps, but it didn't particularly like the prospect of living in such conditions, so it decided to train its skills on antelopes, deer, and other animals that came to the salty seawater to take shelter or rest. Thus, the saltwater crocodile not only became better in terms of hunting, but also grew in size. And it was growing big. It wasn't long before the saltwater crocodile conquered Mount Olympus of the food pyramid. But it's not just about rage, or rather it's not just about its rage that matters. The jaws are the main argument in any gastronomic dispute. The bite of the saltwater crocodile is one of the most powerful of any living animal. Its jaws slam shut with a force of 3.5 tons. Having such a devil's toy, the crocodile couldn't but go crazy and grow up to incredible 20 feet in length. At the same time, according to the stories of local residents, they have personally seen individuals up to 26 feet in length. However, these cases have not officially been documented yet. I'm sure many of you are still wondering, how can a creature move so easily from freshwater to saltwater? It's not real. But it is real if you can get salt glands in the process of evolution, which remove excess salt from the body. By acquiring this skill, the saltwater crocodile opened the way to the world ocean. And nothing could spoil this cruise, because even sharks avoid this reptile. They understand that if they get into its jaws, it will not be possible to get out of them. Barracuda. This is the name of a very dangerous fish, which is on par with sharks and sometimes even ahead of them. And this is despite the fact that people don't talk about it so much. Indeed, why are there so few news reports devoted to this fish? It has a unique appearance. It reaches 3.2 feet in length, and it weighs up to 22 pounds. It attacks from an ambush lightning fast, developing a speed of up to 28 miles per hour. This toothy rocket devours an unlucky marine inhabitant in one fell swoop. But even if it's not defeated in one bite, the barracuda still has an answer. If you ask it, "What's the power?" it will show you its teeth, and further words will be unnecessary. With the help of its teeth, this fish easily tears bodies of sea creatures into small pieces. Besides, it has 2 rows of teeth. The dangerous predator feeds on smaller fish as well as cephalopods. Barracudas can gather in groups and hunt together, attacking shoals of small fish. After accelerating to high speeds, they attack by biting their prey in half or ripping out chunks of flesh. It's a frightening sight that makes people scare. The only good news is that these creatures either do not attack fishermen or divers at all, or do it very rarely. And they say that the fish do this only for their own safety, sensing trouble. Cone snail. Seeing such a cute creature somewhere at the bottom of the ocean, you'd never think that it conceals a bunch of dangers. But that's how it usually happens, that the quietest, sweetest, and most inconspicuous creature is the cause of all the troubles. And the cone snail is no exception. The body of this gastropod mollusk is hidden in a beautiful cone-shaped shell. Many swimmers will definitely want to pick it up and take it home. However, this ocean dweller is a dangerous predator that hunts using paralyzing venom. Despite the fact that this snail mainly hunts smaller mollusks, fish, or worms, it can also send a person to the kingdom come. The predator hunts at night. During the day, it's extremely difficult to encounter it. It's completely buried in the sand. But when the appetite takes over its mind, it begins to do things that no one has ever dreamed of in nightmares. The cone snail lures its prey with its outgrowths, and as soon as they show up in the zone of visibility and reach, the cone snail shoots them with a venomous spike. Such an attack occurs suddenly, and it's able to neutralize even a large underwater inhabitant like a shark. After all, whoever you are, if you take the bait of this snail, it will instantly paralyze you, pull you up to it, and eat you. In fact, the ocean floor is full of all sorts of surprises. One of them is the stonefish. In fact, it's an analog of the previous snail, only larger and more dangerous. This fish is considered the most venomous on our planet. It reaches a length of 16 inches, but you don't want to approach it at all. The appearance of the fish is frightening, to put it mildly. It has a giant head, and the body is completely covered with various prickly and dangerous outgrowths. If someone dares to touch them, intentionally or accidentally, they'll be condemned to death. After all, when in contact with the spines, they release powerful venom that causes paralysis and tissue necrosis. In the case of a creature as large as a human being, we have only a couple of hours to try to neutralize the venom, otherwise we die. If you now think that all such dangerous creatures are not found in real life, that they live too deep or far from the shores, you're wrong. The stonefish settled just as close to people in shallow waters near coral reefs, exactly where people often walk. Well, we've understood how they defend themselves, but how do these creatures hunt? It's unlikely that they swim and put their spines forward to everyone like hedgehogs. Yes, that's right. These creatures are not fussy at all. They're quite calm, slow, and confident. Spotting them on the bottom is almost unreal, even for experienced sea creatures. This fish is indistinguishable from a rock or a stone. It lies and waits for a smaller one to swim near it. Once that happens, it opens its bottomless mouth and sucks the enemy right into it with no chance for it to swim away. Lion's mane jellyfish. It's time to look at a creature that may be longer than even a blue whale. And you're like, what? How can anyone be bigger than a blue whale? I mean, it's the heaviest and the biggest creature. Come on, in a fair comparison, the whale would definitely win. I'm just embellishing a little bit. However, the lion's mane jellyfish might beat it in terms of length. But first things first. So, the lion's mane jellyfish is a member of the disc jellies order. It looks quite interesting. It has a rounded, jelly-like cap, to which a lot of thin tentacles, similar to long threads, are attached to the bottom. From the look of it, it's a common jellyfish, which is rather beautiful than scary. But why is it considered one of the most dangerous creatures of the ocean? In fact, the answer lies in its tentacles. All of them are studded with numerous polyps containing toxic substances. By pulling them out, the dweller of the depths creates a huge net in which various small animals and fish fall into. Small organisms immediately die under the influence of venom. In case of contact with human skin, the venom causes a severe allergy with the appearance of painful symptoms, and medium-sized sea creatures die in a short period of time. If you think it's easy to get out of its tentacles, you've probably forgotten what I said at the beginning. The jellyfish can be longer than a blue whale. The largest jellyfish measured had tentacles up to 120 feet long. All that length is its dangerous outgrowths, which it's better not to touch. Orcas. What an episode about the ocean's most dangerous creatures can be without orcas. These mammals are the only representatives of their genus and the largest carnivorous dolphins. Usually their life is unremarkable. They calmly swim in the water, raise their babies, and take care about their family. In short, they keep order and make sure that nothing and no one disturbs them. However, when it comes to hunting, then everything is instantly turned upside down. Orcas gather in a gang of 3 to 5 individuals and begin to think over a plan. If they've chosen, for example, to hunt a penguin, they'll check the area where the penguin is supposed to be chased and see where they'll pass and where they will not. In general, it looks like some GTA mission. They have a clear route laid out on a mini-map and they follow it. From the outside, it looks extremely easy and clear, but in reality, it's not like that at all. It takes a tremendous amount of effort. Orcas think through everything to the smallest detail, which member of their group will be in a certain place, which one will do a certain task, and when it will turn. Each of them perfectly remember all the nuances of tactics, despite the fact that during the task they do not communicate. But it's not enough for the cetaceans to catch their prey and eat it. They want a real show in which they'll play the main roles. Researchers have observed orcas swimming for long periods of time after an almost exhausted target. Like energy vampires, they feed their strength from the suffering of their enemy. Until it completely gives up, the killer whale will playfully chase it and make it spend its energy to the last. Some of you would think, what's their power? Well, they're good at thinking out a plan. Yeah, they're pretty big, 33 feet long and 8 tons of weight. But what do they kill with? Well, orcas hunt using their alien jaws. Why alien? Because it seems to me that the force of which they slam them defies the Earth's laws. The orca bite force is several times more powerful than that of the great white shark. It's 85,000 newtons, which is the equivalent of 8.5 tons. The largest freshwater fish in history, an incredible shark weighing over a ton, dangerous swordfish, and marlins. Keep watching to make sure you don't miss these incredible catches. Stingray. The first animal in this episode is already a part of history, and now you'll know why. This stingray was caught last summer in the Mekong River. A Cambodian fisherman was shocked when he caught it. It was so big that the fisherman couldn't pull it to shore alone, so he had to call for help. About 10 people pulled the stingray ashore to measure it. The fish weighed 660 pounds and was 13 feet long. In the end, this particular stingray became the largest freshwater fish in the world that people have ever managed to catch. The stingray broke the record of 2005. The then individual weighed 646 pounds. Don't worry about the record holder. It wasn't roasted and eaten by the whole Cambodian village. The stingray was only measured, carefully removed from the hook, and then the scientists put an acoustic tag on it for tracking. After that, they released the giant back into the river. Do you think anyone will break this incredible record? Share your thoughts in the comments. What could be cooler than catching a record-breaking stingray? How about a record-breaking shark? It may seem strange to some, but sharks do get caught, just like other fish. After all, a shark is also a fish. One of them was caught in September 2021 in England. An ordinary plumber named Simon was able to catch the shark using only a fishing rod. It's hard to believe that this is even possible. What's more, the shark actually became a record-breaking one, as I said. Its weight was 551 pounds, and its length was just over 6.5 feet. Yes, it's not the record holder among all toothy predators, but it is the record holder among white sharks. The previous record was set as long ago as 30 years, so I doubt that soon someone will surpass Simon's achievement. The fisherman, by the way, should be given credit. Officially, the new record was not set because for this procedure it's necessary to kill a shark, which Simon didn't want to do. He nobly released the predator into the wild. Tiger shark. Now let's take a look at some really huge sharks. The fish in question was caught in 2004. In the picture you can see it and fisherman Kevin James Clapson. It was him who was able to catch this huge shark. Incredibly, the weight of this tiger shark is 1,785 pounds. It became not only the heaviest and largest tiger shark ever caught, but also one of the largest fish ever caught. History knows only a few cases when people caught even larger toothy fish. Although there is still some debate about it, but it's believed that the largest shark was caught by Alfred Dean in 1959. He was fishing off the coast of the Australian city of Ceduna, where he caught a great white shark. The size amazed everyone. The fish weighed 2,664 pounds. It's still the all-time record that no one's ever broken, at least according to the Sport Fishing Association. When it comes to the biggest fish in the world, everyone thinks about sharks, catfish, or stingrays, but far fewer people think of tuna. Well, people should think about it as well. After all, these sea creatures can be incredibly large. A species called the Atlantic bluefin tuna stands out in particular. It's also known as the giant bluefin tuna. The weight of some individuals can exceed 1,500 pounds, and the length can reach almost 16 feet. Nathan Adams caught a not-so-huge fish, but still not a small one. In 2012, he caught a bluefin tuna weighing 738 pounds in New Zealand waters. The record-breaking tuna was 4 times heavier than the fisherman himself. The fisherman wanted to sell this tuna, which could bring him very good money, but was unable to do so because of problems with the boat he was fishing on. It's not known what Nathan did with his catch, but the main thing is that he made history and surprised everyone. Record-breaking marlin. Marlins are another very big fish. Catching them may guarantee you a record. You bet. If you take, for example, the Atlantic blue marlin, some individuals weigh more than 1,764 pounds at a length of 16 feet. That's the size of a full-fledged shark. However, sharks don't have such an epic spear-like snout, which can pierce enemies. By the way, because of its colossal size, the Atlantic blue marlin has almost no natural enemies, but it itself preys on many sea creatures. But let's get back to the record. Last year, fishermen set it in the African state of Cape Verde. The men fought with a marlin for half an hour, trying to pull it out of the water. Eventually they succeeded, and they immediately began to measure it. The girth of the fish was 5.2 feet, the length was 11.8 feet, and the weight was 1,369 pounds. The incredible giant has become a record in the last few decades, as well as the second largest blue marlin caught in history. First place goes to Paulo Amorim's catch. In 1992, he caught a giant Atlantic blue marlin weighing 1,402 pounds off the coast of Brazil. Paulo spent 80 minutes fighting with the giant and still defeated it. American paddlefish. Next, we have a very large fish with an interesting appearance. The American paddlefish has such a name for a reason. Its snout is elongated, can be up to a quarter or even a third of the entire length of the fish, and is the shape of a paddle. The snout makes the American paddlefish visually longer, but in fact this fish is large in general. Some individuals grow up to 23 feet in length. Even many sharks cannot dream of such a size. But this happens rarely. Even catching a 6.5-foot paddlefish can be a real achievement, and this is exactly what happened with a fisherman named Henry Dyer. In April of this year, he caught a 6.5-foot paddlefish in the Tennessee River. The giant was more than 3.6 feet in girth. This is even more than the girth of the prehistoric Titanoboa snake. The weight was also impressive, 149 pounds. According to Henry, he could barely stay on the boat and almost fell into the water trying to lift the giant to the surface. It was only after half an hour of exhausting struggle that the paddlefish finally gave up. Speaking of catches, people catch not only marlins, paddlefish, sharks, or tuna. Sometimes one can set a record or make history by catching another animal, not even a marine creature, such as a snake or a huge herbivore. Let's take a look at a couple of these cases. Python. Like various fish, people often catch pythons. But for what purpose? Well, there can be several options. Some people want to get venom from the snake, and some want its skin. But often pythons are caught for another purpose – safety. This is often done in Florida. This American state is literally teeming with various pythons, including Burmese pythons. These are huge snakes up to 16 feet long and weighing up to 165 pounds. At least these are the numbers that scientists have often cited in the past, but it seems it's time for an update. Last year, during another raid on Florida snakes, a record-breaking python was caught. It was a female which was about 16 feet long, weighing about 220 pounds. No one had ever caught such a large snake in this region before. It wasn't easy to humble such a huge snake. The specialists fought with it for 20 minutes, but finally overpowered the reptile and moved it to another place. Thus, they made sure that the huge Burmese python didn't harm the local fauna and didn't destroy the food chain in the local ecosystem. Hippo. Occasionally, it happens that people capture these huge herbivores. This is not about food chains and other things, but about the safety, because hippos are extremely dangerous and often attack people. At one time, there was a hippo in Niger that people thought was a threat. It was decided to capture him and transport him to a protected botanical garden in Egypt. There, the hippo was given the name Mubarak and measured. He turned out to weigh 9,920 pounds, which according to many was an absolute record among all the hippos in the world. Already in the botanical garden, people realized that Mubarak was not really dangerous. Unlike many of his congeners, he was calm and even interacted with people. It's said that he even allowed some people to get on top of him. In 2017, the record holder passed away at a very advanced age. Well, next you'll see a mysterious creature found by the riverbank, delighting and shocking viewers from all over the world. The River Thames. The River Thames, which flows in England, is world famous. It may seem to be a rather calm river, but it turns out that there may be monsters there. One of them was filmed near the O2 Arena. In the murky water, you can see a rather large creature which immediately dives when it's caught on camera. It's not easy to see, but this isn't the only footage. Here's another one, which was taken during a tour along the River Thames. Not far from the tourists, this monster appeared again, which was seen only for a short time. Soon, the mysterious creature disappeared under the water. Can something horrible and mystical swim somewhere in the London River? Shouldn't it have been found a long time ago? What do you think it could be? Share your versions in the comments. Fast monster. It's not quiet, not only in the UK, but also in Ireland. In the north of this country, there's a bay called Lough Foyle, and it was there that the following footage was taken. They show some kind of strange creature that's moving quickly right towards the boat. After swimming up, it dives and hides under the water almost completely. It's as if the creature doesn't want to be identified. It prefers not to stick out further on and just swims away somewhere in the distance. The man to whom this fast monster swam was later asked, and he replied that it was not a whale as everyone first thought. What is it then? Nessie's Irish brother? I wouldn't be surprised if it was. The waters in the UK and Ireland are far more mysterious than we might think. Fishing in Sydney. A few years ago, a family from Sydney traveled to the Hawkesbury River to fish, spend time together, and enjoy new experiences. I don't know what their catch was, but they definitely had enough impressions. They filmed something strange not far from their boat. A huge creature was splashing near the shore, dived, and then reappeared. The mysterious river dweller is difficult to identify, and people filmed it from a distance so that the monster didn't attack the cameraman. That's why we can only guess what creature was caught on camera. According to the family, it could have been a seal, but scientists denied this version, saying that seals are not common in this region. What do most people know about Brunei? That it's such a tiny country in Southeast Asia and that a sultan rules there? Turns out there's something else interesting about Brunei. Not too long ago, people filmed a monster in one of the local rivers. The footage is taken from a small boat. Not far from it, a creature swims that's difficult to identify. It has two fangs hanging up, a bunch of fangs on the sides of the head, and the face looks like that of a dolphin. The hell is it even? A hybrid of a dolphin, a shark, and a boar? Or maybe it's one of these creatures but with a mutation. Someone even suggests that it's a prehistoric monster, which miraculously survived to our time. What do you think? Strange crab. Not all river and sea monsters are seen by humans in their habitat. Some are washed ashore, and the encounter takes place there, like this one. There was this crab on the shore, but it's kind of strange. In general, it looks like a large crab, but what is this thing sticking out of it? What's this outgrowth? It looks creepy. No wonder the kids were scared. Fortunately, at least there's an explanation for this creature. This is a horseshoe crab. In fact, it's not a crab, but a representative of the Chelicitera subphylum of the Meristoma class. In short, it's not a crab in spite of its name. The main feature of these creatures is a sword-like tail. Despite the fact that horseshoe crabs look creepy, they're not dangerous to humans. And they're also of special value to scientists as they're considered living fossils. Just imagine, they've been living on the planet for more than 250 million years. Singapore is generally considered a very advanced city-state, but it seems that even in such high-class places you can find real creepiness. A few years ago, something strange was filmed in a local river. A mysterious animal with a fin, tail, and large mouth was swimming back and forth near the wall and scaring the locals just by its mere sight. They didn't understand what exactly was caught on camera. The versions, as it usually happens, were divided. Someone thought that there was a large lizard in the river, a black-throated monitor to be more precise, and someone said that it was a mutant shark. Some even thought that this monster was someone's pet, which was released so that it could swim a little. I don't even know what's scarier, the fact that this monster still cannot be identified, or the fact that someone in Singapore has such a thing. That's all, guys. What's the strangest thing you've ever found in a river? Share your stories in the comments. Thank you for watching, and see you later.